everyone. This is Legion of Guile again. I haven't made a video in a little bit because I've been meeting a lot of family again. It was pretty cool, and so I just want to be talking about while I'm here in Hong Kong. I'm not going to be getting many hauls and stuff because the shipments come in on Saturdays for the stores here, and so it's not like the regular Wednesday, Thursday times. So that was pretty. So like it'll make it pretty late for the hauls to arrive. So I'm just going to be talking, like, reviewing some of the previous Batman arcs in the meantime. I was going to start off with I Am Gotham, the first arc of Rebirth, but I eventually decided to start from the New 52 because that was my jumping point, and Rebirth was also like another jumping point for new readers, so they might have missed some of the previous stuff, and it's also some really good stuff that they may have missed. The New 52 Batman, out of the entire run, which was regarded as probably one of the best Rebirths, I don't know, one of the best New 52 runs, the Court of Owls, which is the first arc, was probably regarded as like the best one, and it ran from issues 1 to 11. And then, what was great about this arc, I'm just going to talk about the good and some of the bad and what my personal opinions on various aspects are. So the best part of the arc was the establishment of the New 52 Gotham and the New 52 world of Batman. I thought that Snyder and Capullo did a good job of integrating an enemy which Snyder has said that was here from like Gotham's founding, and they've been here across many time periods, and that they've been active the whole time without anyone knowing, and that even Batman didn't know they existed until like the story. So this was a really good way of integrating a new characters into the arc, and also with the treatment of the Court of Owls, it left them open to more storytelling, because they didn't just like die or get finished off at the end of the arc, or put into like paralysis, or like complete, or like froze them, or like whatever. They were still active, like they could rebuild from what happened by the end of the arc. So that was it left it open ended for other creators to use these characters. Also, the character designs was also, I thought, was a really good decision by Capullo and Snyder. The court themselves being just like regular people, just like the wealthy and the elite of Gotham from like the old families. I thought that was like their design was simple. It was just regular people with like an owl mask. I thought it was good, and also a good decision. With the simplicity of the owl mask, there's like no mouthpiece. It's just the eyes and the nose. I thought that was good. It's like you could definitely tell it was an owl just by looking at it, and also like it was pretty unnerving whenever you saw them. Mainly because like there's also like Court of Owls like children, and there's like this one particular girl who's always like holding like a stuffed toy, which was pretty creepy. So also and also like it was kind of reminded me of like Assassin's Creed when the Talons had like different outfits corresponding to the time period, similar to how in the games and the lore, different chapters of the assassins would have different uniforms and stuff. I thought that was good design. Like it still had an overarching motif of like knives and the owl masks, the Talon masks, but the costumes themselves were slightly different. Now, a lot of people might think, some people might think that since it ran for 11 issues, which was nearly a year, because it was monthly back then, that it might have like dragged on the story and stuff like that. Similar to what some people think about Zero Year when they were reading it from month to month instead of like all together as a trade, which I feel Zero Year reads better as. But I feel like in this case it's different, because in Zero Year's case, it was like an origin story to New 52 Batman, which made that the stakes weren't high at all, because there were two other arcs before it happened, so like you knew that Batman was going to go on these adventures. You know that he was going to fight the Court of Owls and the Joker, and that Zero Year, like nothing serious was going to happen. Like he's not going to kill off Gordon or something, because like he's present within these arcs. Like he's appeared before. Like Alfred's not going to die. He's appeared here as well. Like Damien's still here. Like all of the Bat family is here as well. So it was different in that regard, and also every issue was very action packed, while also having like a good balance of like the mystery aspect, which played largely on like Batman as a detective trying to figure out like how old the court has been and like where the hideouts were and stuff like that, which was cool. Also, they, in regards to like establishing the world of New 52 Batman, in this arc they establish who the Bat family are in probably like a pretty good scene, which is in issue 8 when Alfred sends out a distress signal to the rest of the family, and establishes that all these characters are still in the Bat family and that like none of them are like gone and stuff. Like maybe some of them, like Stephanie Brown, like a lot of the female Robins and Batgirls aren't here. Only Barbara Gordon is, because she's Batgirl again, and there was never Oracle. But aside from that, like most of the other characters remain intact, which I thought was a good decision. And also the tie-ins, in regards to tie-ins, because in these big arcs there's usually like a tie-in issues. They had the Night of Owls event, which ran across the other Bat family books. I thought it was good because they weren't necessary. There was no key story elements which were in these issues. You could just like go read from issue 1 to 11 without reading any of the other Night of Owls events, and you would still like completely understand what was happening. They have released Night of the Owls as a trade, which makes it easier. I have picked up the trade. The stories in it, some of them are better than others, but as a whole, it's fine. Because like they can't go like too crazy with it. It's just like various members of the Bat family just saving people on like the Court of Owls hit list. So I'm not gonna go too much into the actual story, because I want like other people to read it without like having it spoiled for them. I just want to talk about like how the transition between the current like era and like past Gotham was a good decision. Like it flashed back to like one of the Waynes like being pursued by the court, or like one of Alfred's ancestors like telling like the next Pennyworth, or I think it was Alfred actually, telling like Alfred like to not serve the Waynes because like the court was after them and stuff like that. It's established like the court has been here since like in different time periods as well, and you could see its effect on other people, which I thought was good. So that was also a really good point, and like you could also tell because there was like a sort of like mini story called like, which featured like one of Alfred's ancestors, and like the art style was very different. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also, I thought that within the Court of Owls story, especially on the like it was very action packed, which I've already mentioned before, but like, and you could see this on like all the covers of the first 11 issues, which I thought was probably one of the really strong points of this issue. While I really do love the 0 year covers, I thought they're very cool. Like not very cool, they're very just like beautiful, like the scenery and like the posing of it as well. I thought that like the from like when you walk into the comic book store, like the Batman covers were just so like dynamic, especially issue 1. Like issue 1's probably one of like the best covers in the whole run. That was great, but every single like cover, like aside from maybe 11, it's very action packed. Like it's just very well done. It's like issue 1, 2, and 3, it's just a really solid dynamic action scenes. Issue 3, it was very good, like good uses of like reds and stuff, like, and like very simple colors, but like it was still very effective. You could show like the brutality and stuff as well, and like the way that the Batman logo, like the words Batman was also in red, was a very good like decision. Issue 4 was also very good, like very simple use of colors. You had like the Talon looming over Gotham City, and Gotham was just completely in red, and it's like dripping off the shadow of the Talon like blood, and you can see Batman in the Talon's eyes. So it was good in the stab, like it was like motif. It was good. Like the Talons, the Court of Owls, like ruled over Gotham, and like they had Batman in their sights. I thought that was like a very, very good. Like it was almost like a symmetrical cover. Number 5 was also another one of these like very violent covers. I thought like the blood here wasn't just overused. It was it portrayed a good sense of danger as well. You had like the black shadows like collapsing in on like Batman, almost like his sight was narrowing as like the Talon's going in with his knives, and like Batman's like on the floor. Issue 6, this was also like one of the fight scene covers, but it's still very well done. Like Batman's turned into an owl. Um, it's very good because like it plays on the aspect of Batman as a child being like plagued by the court when he's like tried to like prove that they were real or like try to figure out if they were real, and this is like just a really good cover because like Batman like he just looks like he's going completely mad, and like he's like his cape's turned into feathers and he's got like a claw for a hand. 7 is similar to 5. It's got like these shadows which look like in which is like purple against like a black background, and like they're shaped like owl talons, and Batman's just like on the floor and they're like collapsing in on him and he just like fought a talon, and like it shows a lot of these covers show Batman in like a vulnerable state or like a beat up state, which I thought was pretty interesting, and he was being like just he's just being cornered by the court because they're just so much bigger and more influential than he is because they've been around for so longer. Issue 8 was like the Night of Owls. It has the Night of Owls banner on it. But I thought this cover was just really amazing because it's Bruce Wayne standing on top of one of the like the towers or like the roofs of Wayne Manor. Like he's like in his nightgown and like he's like wearing like pajama pants and he's just fighting talons. And like I thought this cover like this was the first issue I ever bought like of a comic book, and like this cover was just like so striking to me. Like it was just Bruce Wayne, and like he's got like this like really angry face, and he's just like completely like going at it on these talons. And I like it here because um the talons, they're all like very muted colors. Like the sky, the background's gray. It's like a very like a muted shade of red in the roof, and like the talons are predominantly black, and like the eyes are like popping out on the page because it's like a all like orangey yellow, while like Bruce Wayne is like his eyes like it's a slightly more lighter tinge of blue, so you can like it's more clear. It's kind of like ice cold, and like you can see the dynamism in like the posing of Bruce Wayne. He's got like his fist. He's about to like punch someone, and like his legs are like crouched as well, ready for action with the talons. Like you can see they're pouncing on him, and like the use of and like the shadows on alongside the roof, like convey like how like it's similar to issue 7 where like they're coming for Batman, and I thought this was just a great cover overall. Issue 9. This is when Batman's in like the huge. He's like in a huge like robot suit. It's kind of like the Hellbat, but it's just like a big iron suit. I like this one because it's similar to issue 4, but instead of Gotham, it's a Wayne Manor in complete red dripping off, like in sort of like a blood spatter pattern, but this time it's the talons inside in Batman's sight. So this was like a cool parallel to issue 4's cover, and also I like how in Batman's like visor, there's like it's just a red tint across it. It looks like Wayne Manor's in flames or something, and like, the talons are kind of like distorted in like the shape of his visor, which I thought this was a really good cover again, a very simple but effective cover, and this is still had the Night of Owls banner. In issue 10, this one, this one was probably I think the weakest cover out of like the entire arc. It's just Batman standing, and he's holding a broken Court of Owls mask, and he's got owl wings like in shadows behind him. But although this has the weakest cover overall, it's like a pretty simple cover. I think I think it's probably one of like the best issues in the arc, which I found pretty funny. Like the weakest cover had like the best because it had like a pretty strong character reveal in the issue, which I'm not gonna talk about, but it had the weakest cover overall. So, and issue 11, this one had like a Dark Knight Rises like banner on top because like the movie was coming out, I think, and this one was the finale to the Court of Owls, and this was also a very good cover. It wasn't really dynamic in terms of like fight scenes and stuff, but it has like a very painterly quality to it. The fire, like it's Batman's like standing, hands outstretched, like with his cape, and there's like fire coming out, and it says like the epic finale of the Court of Owls. And I thought this cover, for like the end of the arc it was very like, it was like a pretty good end to like all like the violent covers we've had previously, and it was more like a very calming aspect, and I thought that this was a good way to end it. And like also the fire, I don't know who did this cover actually. It was Capullo as well. Capullo did a great work on this fire. I think like the fire, like it's very painterly, it's very bright, catches your eye, and also the fire eventually turns into like little like bats flying up, so it's like symbolic of like Batman's like a triumph, and also of like his victory over the court, or for now at least. And I thought that this was a very nice cover. So I know I talked a lot about the covers, but I feel like they're a very important part of the comic book because it's what sells the comic to like a buyer when they walk into the store, because there's like they can only see the cover. A lot of times they won't bother like flicking through it, but like they would if like the cover's really eye catching. So I thought that although the story, like even though the storytelling and like the character designs and like everything about the arc was handled very well, the the covers as well, like Capullo did like an amazing work with this arc, I feel like personally. So I feel like anyone who just began reading Batman or has been just like hasn't been following like the current run and stuff, or like jumped on from Rebirth, they should definitely read the Court of Owls arc. It's collected into trade. Night of Owls is also in a trade. It shouldn't be that expensive. You buy it in like paperback or soft cover. Wait till Free Comic Book Day to buy it for like a cheaper price, or like wait till a sale, whatever. But everyone who likes Batman as a character should be reading this, because this has been one of like the best Batman stories as a like in quite a while. Not in quite a while, because Morrison's Batman and Robin was like pretty good. Like was also like really good, but like for a starting arc, for like a completely new take on Batman, this was a really good story, and I recommend anyone who likes the character to go check it out. So yeah, I'll come back soon with a video on Death of the Family. I need to reread that one, because I think out of all the arcs, that's the one I forgot about the most. I remember Super Heavy and Zero Year as well, and also some of the filler issues. Maybe I'll talk about them as well. But yeah, Court of Owls, a great story, great art. Yeah, just go check it out. Yeah, thank you. Bye.